In this video, we're going to be setting it up for whenever we press E on our door, we're simply going to disable its collision because uh, I decided to, instead of going the kind of like interpolation route where it just steadily moves, instead, whenever our like the initial map, like Nostra and Toten, ends up getting to a playable state, I'm going to be creating animations and such for the doors and stuff instead. So for now, we're just going to simply disable the collision, which will update this navigation mesh and allow them to go right through it. So for the example of testing, we're going to have this sucker. So that should make them have to walk all the way around. And it'll be obvious to see the change in the navigation mesh because it'll be going from an angle to straight on us. So let's go to project settings, input, and we're going to create a new action mapping. I'm going to delete the reset VR. Let's add a new mapping. Let's call this one interact. I'm going to set it to the E key or F key and save. So let's go ahead and bind that mapping up. So Nazi zombie character, create a new function. I'll call this one, actually I want to rename interact to set interaction or set interactable object, like so. Then I'm going to create another function, void interact. Then in setup player input component, we're going to bind that. So I want to be lazy and copy one of the lines for the current input components. Change it to interact. The function is going to be a Nazi zombie character. Whoa. Interact. So predator log. Interacting. And what we're going to do here is if interactable. We're going to do interactable use. And what we need to pass in is a reference to ourselves. So now let's head into Barricade. Do virtual void use. And what was the parameter? All right, so it's a character base. Couldn't remember if it was that or a Nazi zombie character. But let's go ahead and create the definition. Okay, I forgot to override. Now let's create it. I swear, like sometimes it takes like 2 seconds and sometimes it takes like a bloody minute. There we go. All right. Relog. Do get name. So it prints out that we're in the use function for this. So I want to go ahead and compile and check it. Which means I got to close the editor. And next, once we get this working, we're going to have to set it up to be networked. So that way clients can do it as well. Okay. So press F, in use function for it. Okay. So that is working. So, but if you saw, currently the zombies are no longer following us after we made the change of overriding our character to the new one. I mean, not overriding, changing our character to the new one. So we're gonna have to fix that. First, let's go ahead and disable the collision. So this set, oh, don't need this. Set actor enable collision false. And compile. Relaunch the editor. And we can go to our blackboard, or our behavior tree, I mean. And if we look at our custom task, find closest player, you'll see we have get actors of class, BP character base. Instead, we want BP Nazi zombie character, like so. That's going to create these two issues. All we have to do is recreate our for each loop. So if I refresh this now, it's fine. So let's do a for each. Connect all of this back up. And we need to reset closest player. That's not too big of a deal. We ultimately we don't need this variable like at all. We can just connect straight up to it. So I'm just going to do that and remove our closest player variable. Make that to completed. And we are set back up to be good to go. So now, let's see. You can see the zombies moving towards us. So you can see it's going to that far end there. I press F. They now turn to face me because the collision for this actor is disabled. And that's what we want. So we're good to go there. I'm just going to make a comment. Play animation to move and destroy door after anim. Oh, honestly, we don't even need to really destroy it. So play animation to move barricade, like so. So I'm gonna remove that log. It's not really, I want to keep it. But we have ourselves set up. We just need to make this run on this, make sure it's running on the server. So server RBC if client. And we also need to do a check to make sure, again, on the client, if the interactable that he is trying to interact with is within, I'm just going to do a range check because that's ultimately, that's all that's really needed in this case. And that will be what dictates us actually finding or checking if it's valid or not. And another thing I want to change really quickly is the distance. So currently I'm pretty far away. So it stops right there. I want to nearly like drop that by a quarter. So I want to create a U property and set this to be editable. So let's do right here. U property, edit defaults only, and do float interaction range. By default, we have that set to 500. Let's set it to interactable range equals 200. All right, then we can set that to use the interactable or the interaction range. And that should shorten that up quite a bit. And that's the distance that we're going to use plus a little bit to see if it's if the use is in fact valid. So let me just confirm that that's about where I want it, and we will stop with this video. All right, be a little closer, but it's not bad at all. And plus now, if I ever want to change it, all I have to do simply look for this. I'm just gonna set it to 150, and I think that'll be good. Yeah, I like that. So 150. So now that we have our basic door kind of set up, we don't have any animations because we don't have any actual doors or barricades that I want to make, at least yet. Set up, I'd say we're good to go. In the next video, we will be working on making this work via multiplayer. So, because I'm going to be testing with it, I'm just going to extend that out. And I'm going to move each of these player spawns closer to it, just for ease of testing. So, this is not going to work on if the client does it, but we're going to fix that in the next one. So, I will see you then.